Hi, I hope you all are enjoying what you are learning in the collaborative learning module. I wanted to give some further explanations about the jigsaw work that you will be doing and the group work that you will be doing in this module. So if you look in module 2, you will see that today you are responding in the discussion post on the introduction, chapter 1 and chapter 2. In this discussion, we are actually using the big 3 questions from Beers and Probst. What surprised me? What did the author think I already knew? That question is about students putting the onus for not being able to understand on the author rather than on them as a reader. So it's thinking about what the author assumed for background knowledge, and so that students can see that if they don't understand something, it may not be necessarily because they're a poor reader. It may mean that the author made an unfair assumption. Another way, though, for this question is to say, what did the author want me to know? And then the last one is what changed or confirmed what I already knew. And you can also say challenged if something made students think. So this right here is the big 3. And here you'll see how I have kind of modified that for our class. What surprised you? What do the authors want you to know? How does explicit instruction and inquiry stance relate to cooperative group work? So this is me using the cyclone strategy, where we are cycling back to something we've talked about before. And then what changed or confirmed your own thinking. And then you can use this when you expand on peers' posts as well. Even in the future, if I don't give you these big 3 as prompts, you can always use them to expand the discussion. So that'll be a normal kind of discussion. You can see Kelsey has started us off here, and she responds to the post and then replied to 2 peers. Now, what most people are having questions about, though, is the jigsaw. So by September 9th, this is the jigsaw. Jigsaws have expert groups and home groups. So the expert groups are here. Now, I was told that you can only see one of these groups, and whichever one of these you see is your group. If, however, you can see them all, then you'll just have to click in them and see where your name is. So I have them up here so that I can show you. So this is the teacher view. Okay, so these are the people reading chapter 3. Katie, Jessica, Mary, DV, Gwen, and Jessica, L'Oreal, Caitlin, Sam, Carly, Saul, Jennifer, and Sanji. And then Mary L., you and I talked about this, so you also will be reading chapter 3. Chapter 4, people reading chapter 4 are Renee, Tanisha, Claire, Kelsey. Chapter 4, Emily, Marie, Kevin, Kelly, Molly, Jillian. People reading chapter 5, Dawn, Janice, Rachel, Deanne. Chapter 5, Malcolm, Kayla, Jamarie, Pranav, Nicole, Rachel. And then chapter 6, Matthew, Aaron, Joshua, Michael, I think you go by Joshua, Brooke, Abby, Natasha, and Shanae. I haven't had a chance to hear you saying your name, so please let me know if I pronounced your name incorrectly. All right, so expert groups. Expert groups in Jigsaw is when everyone reads something different that they're going to bring back to their home group, so that in their home groups there is all of the different information represented. what I want you to do is in your expert groups. So if you're chapter 3, you have the chapter 3 PDF here and they're all there, so you can read more. After you read it, summarize what you think the main points are. Read everyone else's in your group summaries. Make sure that you have consensus. If you have questions, ask each other questions. Make sure that you become an expert on that chapter. Because then you are going to your home groups. Your home groups are where you're going to write your lesson plans. So your home groups, all of the elementary people who teach all subjects, you can see yourselves there. Elementary math, you are writing a lesson plan together. Elementary science, you are writing a lesson plan together. Secondary ed biology, you are writing a lesson plan together. Second ed chemistry. Matthew, Emily, Saul, and Jessica, you all teach something different, but they're all in the humanities, so I put you 4 in a group together. We have lots of English people, so we have 2 English groups. That's English group, math for secondary ed, math for social studies, and specials. If I put you in a wrong group and you want to be switched, let me know. Although it's more important that you learn how to structure collaborative group work than it is the actual content for this lesson plan. So that's up to you. Okay, so when you go, even know how to work the student view, sorry. Okay, so then when you go back to modules and you go to module 2, you will see that there are directions to the collaborative learning. This means if you are only using the module overview pages and you never open it up to see what's here, you could miss something like this, like the collaborative learning directions. Make sure you read the directions. I'm seeing that people are missing points just because they're not reading the directions. And this is an online course, which is different than face-to-face. In an online course, it means that you are expected to do a lot of reading. I try to supplement that with different modes, such as this video where I'm talking and showing it to you, but you really have to do a lot of reading in an online course. So please read carefully. And ask me questions. I'm happy when you email me and you have questions. Okay, so here are the directions. You can see I put the groups here. If you read chapter 3 in your expert group, you are the lead designer for the task that students will perform to learn with their group, that face-to-face interaction that they'll have. Lead means that you are responsible for initiating the conversation with the other people in your group and that you are responsible for making sure it gets put into the final lesson plan that will be submitted to me. Lead does not mean that you do it by yourself, okay? If you read chapter 4, you are the lead designer of the assessment of the learning objectives, but you will all be writing the objectives together. If you read chapter 4, you're the expert on how to assess those objectives. Again, you will initiate the conversation with your other group members about how to assess it. You'll find consensus amongst the group members, make the final decision if you have to, and then work together to put it in that lesson plan. But if you read chapter 4, you'll be responsible for making sure that it's in there. If you read chapter 5, you're the lead designer of the explicit instruction of interpersonal skills and explicit explanation of expectations for the students during group work. If there's any explicit instruction that is given on content, you can be the lead for that too. And then if you read chapter 6, you're the lead designer for the group processing, the designing a space and time for the team to reflect on what worked and what didn't work, and a time for feedback from the teacher and recognition for the teams that were successful. And you will, as a group, determine the criteria for success. I just sent you an email that, remember, criteria can be quantity, like a percentage, or is able to describe 3 adaptations that the animal has that helps them to survive in that environment. So 3 would be quantity, but it can also be qualitative. It can be qualities or characteristics, or you can use words for criteria. And when I give you a rubric, that's what I'm doing. I'm giving you criteria in words. So you can see I've given you some examples for, or a procedure to help you plan this lesson. I've also given you a template. What you would do is you would open this. If you aren't already, you can see I'm already signed into my Gmail account. If you are not, remember that your umsl.edu email is a Google Suite account, so you just log into that. What you have to do is make a copy. So you go to File, make a copy of it, and then, name it something else. So for secondary ed chemistry, and then save it where you want to save it, and then share it with the people in your group. So there won't be 5 of these lesson plans for secondary chemistry. There will be 1, and you're all working on that 1 if you share it with the people. Okay? All right. I hope that helps. If you have any questions, please let me know. I'm hoping that you'll be able to use the Google Drive as your collaborative space, but remember, you also have Zoom. So within Google Drive, there is a chat feature. It's not going to show it here, but in Google Drive, there is chatting features. So let's say I'm on this and I wanted to chat with you. I can do that here. And then I also can, I also can use, okay, sorry. So I clicked on this. I didn't mean to. If you scroll down, you'll see this, Hangouts. Hangouts is another place where you can video call each other. So you can use Zoom or Google Hangout. And if you have any questions about any of that, you can email Noelle and she can help you through that. So I wish you luck. I look forward to seeing your lesson plans.